Kevin Inoue here again from Fight Designer LLC, and coming at you with another product review. So one of the things that I often get as a gun wrangler and props weapons rental person is questions about shell ejecting props. A lot of folks aren't wanting to deal with blanks anymore. There's obvious safety reasons why you might not want to that are perfectly legitimate. And airsoft gas blowback are really popular, but shell ejecting airsofts are rare and expensive. So what I'm going to compare now is one of these new, I want to say Spring Blowback maybe, cheaply made, not always cheap, toys coming out of Asia that we've seen a lot of lately, along with the previous shell ejecting airsoft version and a simple gas blowback. So we'll look at some of those in a 1911. So the new one we're looking at here is a Kimber 1911. It has the Kimber logo. I don't know if they paid for licensing or not. I'd be kind of surprised if they did. I got this from Tanya Toys. They listed it as a Colt M1911 auto shell ejection blowback laser toy. Currently on sale for $70. And they have other versions of this, and other toys out there. Now, this is a little bit better built than the $40 Glock that was the last one that I reviewed. It's has Kimber Manufacturing Company, Yonkers, New York, Desert Warrior, all that stuff. It's got some decent text. It is engraved rather than just painted. Now this is plastic. It does have the feel of plastic, but it's got a decent look. It doesn't look super plasticky. The matte finish kind of works. It does actually have a grip safety that moves in, which is nice. But there were some weird things with this. So for example, it did not come with any instructions whatsoever. And I didn't see on the website either. So I don't know if you can rack the slide with impunity on this the way you can with an airsoft, or if it's like the Spring Blowback Glock, both versions of that I have, where it says not to rack the slide because that can break it. So for now, I'm gonna say, let's maybe not rack the slide. The hammer also, it moves, but it can't stay back, so you don't get the actual single action look of that as far as I can tell. The shells, interestingly, are exactly the same as on the cheaper one of those Spring Blowback Glocks that I had. So they have the sort of fake bullet in the end, and they're this sort of mustard yellow. But it came with one that was the shinier finish. And I'm not sure why they didn't just do all of them that way, but because it's the exact same, I can also put in some of the ones that came with the Glock as well, and I think they'll work fine. We'll test that. So these top two are actually from the cheaper Glock, not from this particular prop. So magazine goes in. Again, not gonna rack the slide because there's no actual chamber to chamber around into. It ejects them straight from the magazine. So that's why they don't want you racking the slide. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this around, put it in slow-mo. So as you can see, it cycled fine with both of those types of shells. Comes to slide lock like the real deal. There is a slide release, which lets the slide go forward. But I do not know about racking the slide, so I would say for now, don't rack the slide unless you want to break it, because this one is a little bit more expensive. So we've gone from the cheap Glock that was like 20-something on Amazon to the slightly better Glock that was 40-something on Amazon, and that was the one that I reviewed this last time. And now to this Kimber 1911, which is about 70. So we're like almost doubling each time. Yeah, I mean, if you add in the extra shells and stuff. So we are getting a increase in quality, which is nice. Again, is it twice as nice? I don't know. But it's a cool option. It did come with an extra set of springs, and this is interesting because, again, without instructions, I don't know where these go. There's two different sizes here, so I don't know if this is like adjusting the crispness, or if these are both like replacing two different springs that might break. I don't know. I'm a little afraid to take it apart because I tried that with one of the cheap Glocks and I couldn't put it back together again because it was just cheap plastic, and yeah. So we'll see. I might contact them and see if I can get some more information about that. But the most direct comparison that I have for that would be these. Now, these were briefly made. These were licensed by STI, and these were a series of Marushin shell ejecting guns. They had a CZ75, they had a Glock. I have the CZ and I have this 1911. I don't have the other 1911 that they got, and I don't have the Glock. But these are gas blowback airsoft. And so these, the shells, were designed to hold little airsoft BBs, but they are nice and metallic. You can get them in silver or a gold color. And it's a combination shell holding and gas holding magazine because it's a gas blowback airsoft prop. Now these were originally, I don't know, 150, something like that, which is not at all bad for a gas blowback. That's about what most gas blowbacks go for. They're a little bit cheaper made. They're kind of plastic, not metal like some of the nicer higher end gas blowbacks, but they have this nifty feature. The problem is they only briefly made them. And so now they're basically collector's items. And I've seen these go for like $400 on eBay. So these are not really a viable option for regular use. This is not the original grips it came with, by the way. These are, something I have a few of in my props collection. And otherwise they're gonna be like a collector's item for most folks. And when parts break, it's gonna be hard to find replacement parts. I have tried 3D printing the shells. There's a design for it on Thingiverse, but the printer that I've got, what materials I'm using, whatever, it just broke a little too easily. The lip broke. So these do require green gas. Like I said, the gas blowback. So that's one difference already from the Spring Blowback versions that we've been talking about. But if you want to compare the action, here we go. This one you can chamber around because it does actually chamber it because it's got to fire the BB. Oh, and it jammed on the first shot. Let's try that again. There we go. Jammed on every other shot so far. Stovepipe. So, less consistent. Looks better, feels better, but less consistent functionality. Which, again, for something, if you pay $400 for one of these on eBay, you're probably gonna be pretty pissed about. I know I would be. No, I did use one of these fairly successfully on something that was just released on Tubi, misfired, and I can drop a clip in here. You might see in this raid on the Russian Mafia area a shell coming out of the Male Detective's 1911, because we used one of those for that scene. And we got a few shots off just fine. I don't think we lost any of the shell casings or anything. That's the other thing, you gotta hunt those down. So it's functional, it can work, and they can look nice. It's nice to, at least if you do happen to catch that little detail, it adds a little bit of legitimacy to what we see going on. But not everybody's gonna notice or care, and it's questionable whether or not it's worth it. When, of course, if you don't need the shell ejection, there's so many options in just simple gas blowback airsoft 1911s that will give you a crisper action, often be better built, and be much more reliable, just because there's no chance of a double feed, a stovepipe, a jam, any of that kind of stuff. Not that they can't break or wear out, but these are going to be much, much more reliable, and you can get a much higher quality too. The other reason why this is the spring ejection Kimber again. The other reason why these are a little bit more expensive than like the Glock and all is that there's a built-in laser down the barrel. When I fire, you get a brief moment where that laser is engaged. And so you can get interactive targets that will count your hits on target. So you can fire at your little tabletop mini target thing and it'll count the shots. I don't personally care about that. I'm not gonna do any kind of serious training with these toys because we have much better options in the US, and I guess they don't in a lot of Asia. So for me, that's kind of wasted money. I also don't see a super easy way to replace the batteries in that, so I imagine it's not going to last that long anyway. So I kind of wish they had an option where you could be like, can we just do it without the laser and save $10? But they don't. They do have a functional safety here too, which is nice. The grip safety does not appear to be actually functional as a grip safety, but the thumb safety is, so this will actually prevent it from cycling. might break it if you try too many times with that engaged. I wouldn't try it. But the grip safety is not required. So again, as a gun wrangler, what you want is options. The armorer needs to be able to provide the safest prop that will get the job done. And then somewhere way down on the list of priorities probably is also budget and things like that. So if what you really need is to see shell ejection live in person and not have to hire somebody to digitally add the shells bouncing off of things in post-production, maybe you're doing a quick turnaround television show or a contest or something, you don't have time for that. Yeah, this is an option, and they're not that expensive. You know, these are all cheaper than most of the gas blowback versions, the spring blowback ones, and you don't have to worry about gas or batteries or anything else. Obviously, we're talking about filmmaking here because the sound isn't right for live theater. I have occasionally, for live theater, used gas blowbacks with things like a microphone that pitches it down, adds reverb, and distorts it and all. I talked about that in a previous video on using them on a play called Gloria with live theater mic. But, you know, for the most part, even if you put like a fake suppressor on it, it still sounds a little off for live theater. But for indie film, awesome. For even big name films and television now, they use them all the time. So this is kind of a little niche branch coming off from gas blowback. I still see gas blowback as our dominant option, but if you really want the casings and you don't want to mess with the super rare shell ejecting, basically collector edition Marushin ones, now we have another option that's not that hard to get. It does take a little while to get here from China. As far as I know, nobody in the US is stocking them regularly yet. So it takes a while, and you never know if it'll make it through customs or whatever. But now we have some other options. How durable are they? I don't know yet. How reliable are they over time? Not sure. Are the shells going to get chipped up over time? Maybe. I mean, it's not hard metal parts, but maybe. We'll see. But it seems all right. And everything is light and loose enough in this that 3D printing these, if I can find a design for them, might be more of an option if I needed to. The weird yellow mustard color on the plastic is not great, but I can try painting them. We'll see. Because they don't have to chamber, it doesn't matter too much if the diameter changes by like a half a millimeter. So, you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting option. And we'll see where it goes and where the demand is. And if anybody wants to rent these, you know where to find me, www.fightdesigner.com. And until the next YouTube video, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and stay productive if you can, because that's always cool. And show me what you got. Show me what you can do. Post things, comment, link, subscribe, whatever. All that good YouTube stuff. Happy 2023.